Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
Hey, little skeletons. I'm Gina.
And I'm Amber.
And this is Weird True Crime. Hey, Amber. Do you remember that website, peopleofwalmart.com?
Oh, yes. You know, I was always terrified I was going to wind up on there for some reason or another. Irrational fear, probably, because I don't think my wardrobe ever consisted of anything remotely resembling something that would earn someone a spot on there.
No.
And I would actually have to go to Walmart as well. Oh well, anxiety is fun though.
Just be thankful you didn't end up with your very own Walmart rap sheet like our guest today.
But before we dive in, let's hear today's riddle. A truck driver is going down a one-way street in the wrong direction. A police car drives past him but doesn't stop. Why? Stay tuned to the end to find out the answer.
Up first on our Dumbass Criminals of Walmart list is 32-year-old Verdon Lamont Taylor. The people of a Walmart in Exton, Pennsylvania got an unexpected eyeful one Wednesday night back in 2012. According to reports and surveillance footage, the 6'4", 300-pound man stripped off his clothes in the parking lot, forcing cars to swerve around him before he decided to stroll inside in his birthday suit. He approached the customer service desk before he pilfered a package of socks, nonchalantly put them on, and sauntered deeper into the store. He continued his easy breezy stroll until he was inevitably confronted by police. Taylor refused to comply with the police officer's orders to leave the store, and he ended up tased after allegedly spitting at the officer's face. Ugh. Surveillance footage inside the store also shows customers doing everything they could to avoid the very large, very naked man. He was arraigned on charges of indecent exposure, aggravated assault, simple assault, retail theft, receiving stolen property, and disorderly conduct. Whew, that's quite the list of offenses over a couple of socks? Court records also showed that he had prior convictions for disorderly conduct and public urination and defecation.
Ugh.
We can only hope that he finally learned to keep his clothes on while out in public.
I wonder what he had gone to the customer service desk for.
I don't know.
Maybe he needed help opening the stolen package of socks since he was au naturel?
Who knows? But police later said that after he had been tased and restrained, as they loaded him up in the ambulance, he was just babbling and talking incoherently. According to West Whiteland detective Scott Pezick, he was making some references that caused us to believe there was a substance abuse issue. I think we've said it before, but we'll say it again. Drugs are bad, okay?
Hey, you know what's even better than Florida man? Florida woman of Walmart. During one of our previous Dumbass Criminal episodes, you may recall a woman having some fun on an electric shopping cart, sipping some wine out of an interesting beverage vessel.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, she is not to be outdone by a 20-year-old woman in Florida, Jocelyn Lopez, who took her drinking motorized escapades inside her Walmart. On December 22nd, 2015, a report from one of the employees stated that he witnessed Lopez grab a box of sushi from a shelf, eat a piece, and then put it back on the shelf.
So gross.
Ew. Some unfortunate cinnamon rolls and mini muffins received the same treatment as the sushi did. It was also noted that a half-empty bottle of wine was in her cart, and she carried around a rotisserie chicken, consuming the majority of it while motoring around the store.
I just got a picture in my head of her just walking around, like holding the chicken, just taking bites out of it, or just like ripping the legs off. What the heck?
It made me think of The Fifth Element when she takes the big giant bowl of bird out of the thing. Chicken.
Yeah. I
Good
mean,
chicken.
to be fair, at least she wasn't using a Pringles can for her wine and was just drinking it straight out of the bottle. And I understand like the cinnamon rolls and the mini muffins from the bakery, but why? I don't know that I would trust sushi from Walmart.
I don't trust sushi, period. So
I know you don't. I love sushi, but I wouldn't eat it from Walmart. Okay.
So true. Well, she did rack up a bill totaling $32.36 worth of food and wine she had consumed while in the store. When questioned by police, she stated that she knew what she was doing was wrong, but she was hungry and didn't want to take the food outside of the store. When she was put under arrest and searched, the police found an empty syringe in her purse and another in her backpack. She confessed that she had used them earlier to shoot up meth.
Yuck.
At the end of her Walmart adventure, she was charged with shoplifting and drug paraphernalia. I know I've heard other horror stories of people on meth, so thankfully this particular case just involves the munchies of
Yikes.
chicken and questionable sushi.
Yeah. For our next one, the stars of the show will be the Rutherford High football team in Panama City, Florida, back in 2013. The team headed to the Walmart located in Callaway, Florida, to try to raise money to help fund some new uniforms. They were stationed outside the store in a typical shake the can fundraiser fashion, trying to get some spare change from the shoppers leaving. The term fundraiser should be applied loosely here, as it's really a glorified way of begging for money. I digress. As they were doing their thing, a policeman requested their assistance in pursuing a suspected shoplifter.
Wait, a police officer asked high school students to help him catch a thief?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you know what? I almost forgot we're talking about Walmart here for a second.
Yep. Exactly. It took a moment for the students to realize the cop was being serious as well, but once they did, they sprang into action. 8 different teens chased after the suspected thief through the inside of the store. I don't know about you, but even on a good day, I wouldn't try to outrun a high school football player. One of the students eventually caught up with the thief and wrestled him to the ground. The thief tried his best to escape the teens, even taking a swing at one of them, but was unsuccessful. The local police were able to take control of the situation and booked the robber. A witness statement said, quote, "All of a sudden we looked, and of course there's a cop there, and a guy comes flying in and tells the boys to go after him." End quote. I can only assume, but I'm pretty sure that their coach was probably not expecting their fundraiser event to go down the way it did. It just goes to show that you never know what to expect shopping at Walmart.
If this next one doesn't make you weary of using public restrooms, especially in Walmart, I don't know what will. Oh, April Fool's Day. The day so many enjoy wreaking havoc on their friends and family with, hopefully, innocent pranks. It is a day that makes even me nervous about the most normal of situations. In Elkton, Maryland, back in 2011, a 48-year-old man ventured into his Walmart and used the facilities. One of those mundane and sometimes unavoidable activities while shopping. Unfortunately, his experience on the loo was nothing even remotely mundane. The poor man sat down to do his business and soon realized he quite literally couldn't get off the toilet.
Wait. He was stuck to the toilet seat?
Yeah. It turns out that someone had put super glue on the toilet seat as a seemingly innocent April Fool's prank, supposedly.
Oh, no.
Rational thought had clearly left the building by whoever decided this was going to be an innocent, funny prank. After trying unsuccessfully to get up from the toilet seat, the poor man called for help. Some sources say he called the police himself, and others say that an employee heard him yelling and made the call. Regardless, when police and paramedics arrived on the scene, they attempted to extract him from the seat, but unfortunately, after about 15 minutes, they were not successful and ended up just removing him with the seat still attached so he could be transported to the hospital.
Yikes.
Thankfully, the doctors were able to remove the superglued toilet seat from his ass, leaving only minor injuries. As I'm sure some of you know, superglue, or surgical glue, is actually used to keep wounds closed in hospitals, so it is quite effective in forming bonds.
God, that poor man. But did they ever catch who did it?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, no.
Police did confirm, though, that if they ever did catch who was responsible for doing so, they would be facing charges of second-degree assault. What's even more unfortunate is that this wasn't the last time someone would fall victim to this very same prank. A little over 2 months later, a woman in Kentucky also found herself adhered to the toilet seat in her Walmart.
Oh, no.
Paramedics were called to the scene after someone heard her screaming. Finally, after over an hour, they were able to remove her from the toilet seat, unfortunately, with the seat still attached to her as well. I don't know about you, but I use public bathrooms as little as possible, and all of this solidifies my debate about never using one again.
No. Or you just use the squat over it method,
Yes.
Don't actually touch the seat. How embarrassing would that be? Just as a person in general.
So-
Be like, I am stuck, my pants are down, I am stuck on this toilet seat.
And you've got to have people come pry your ass off of there, literally.
Yeah.
Well, when both of the people were picked up by the paramedics and, they had to be wheeled out on a gurney and everything, they were completely covered with a sheet. So they were able to hide their identity, and that's why we don't know who they were. And I wouldn't even want to tell who they were anyway. That's not something you want to be known for.
No.
That's not okay.
That is not a funny prank. That is that is horrible.
I mean, hopefully they were able to laugh about it later. I mean, I would.
Yeah.
But I'm also questionably intelligent sometimes, so.
You are very intelligent. You just happen to see the light side of most things. It's a proper way to go through life, okay?
It's
but
much easier to laugh at shit.
It is than cry about everything, or you would be crying all the time.
Be so dehydrating.
I'm so thirsty. I'm so thirsty while crying. Okay. Anyway. So, throughout the United States, and I'm sure there are similar programs elsewhere, police departments have fundraisers throughout the year to help fund their Shop with a Cop charity event that occurs around Christmas. For the Charles County Police Department in Maryland back in 2011, it was their 4th year running the program.
Shop with a cop. So, literally walk around the store with a police officer who buys you things?
Well, for Charles County, they have over 75 children chosen based on needs and recommendations by the public schools. These kids roll up to the store accompanied by the police officer who volunteered and are given a $200 budget to buy whatever they need or want. One of the organizers of the event said, quote, A lot of the time, the kids will get things for their siblings, for their parents, and they won't really care about getting things for themselves. They just want to help out others, which is nice. End quote. That's so cute.
That sounds awesome. Kids get an opportunity to spend time with a police officer, so they get an understanding that cops don't just arrest people and take them to jail, that they're actually people themselves who care.
Exactly. The kids get to have a blast riding around in the police cars with the sirens blaring and lights on. Even adults want to be able to experience that without, being arrested.
Totally. And again, for a moment here, I forgot we were talking about Walmart, so I can't even imagine where this is going.
Yeah, don't worry. On this particular day, the cops and kids are just fine. The dumbassery lies with 22-year-old Timothy Randall Clark. So on this day, 50 patrol cars roll up with cops and children who stroll into the building and begin their $200 shopping spree. Kids get to choose whatever they want for whoever they want, and towards the holidays, they are looking to get the perfect gift for themselves and their loved ones. Video games, toys, all that are very popular choices. And apparently for Mr. Clark as well. Walmart store security officers watched as Timothy Clark snuck into a back room and proceeded to slice open boxes that contained PlayStation and Xbox video games. He allegedly proceeded to stuff the 26 video games, 2 controllers, and various other accessories into his pants and sweatshirt. Let that sink in for a second. There is no way that this dude didn't happen to notice the copious amounts of cop cars in the parking lot or the uniformed officers strolling around the store, and he decided that that exact moment was the best time to shoplift.
My brain, it hurts.
Girl, same. When Timothy Clark proceeded to try to make his way out to the exit stuffed with loot, the security officers alerted the shopping sheriff's deputies who paused their spending spree. Clark was arrested and charged with theft for his whopping $635 worth of loot. Needless to say, the kids got a shopping spree and a show that day.
Did homie also just completely forget the fucking security cameras?
I know, the security cameras, and also, he's stealing a bunch of games and controllers. Does he already have, the actual system?
Hopefully.
Or, he's stealing a bunch of shit he can't use. I don't know.
People of Walmart for a reason here.
Yeah, it's great decisions all around.
This next story actually comes straight from the People of Walmart website. Before I dive in, I just want to preface this with the fact that the parking lot of Walmart can truly be like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just a Texas thing or if birds flock to the parking lots of Walmarts all over the place. Trying to find a parking space that is close enough to the doors but far enough away from the birds taking a constant dump on your car is enough to tire you out and make you go to Target. Anyway, for 77-year-old Evelyn Danesi, a parking space was enough to get into a heated argument with a stranger over in the Walmart parking lot.
Those spots that aren't in the direct line of poop from all the frickin' birds or a mile from the store are precious. Okay, I would probably get into a fight over a parking spot too, to be honest.
I'm way past the stage of driving around for a ridiculous amount of time to get a good parking spot myself.
Yeah.
I'll park out in BFE and walk my ass up to the store. Walking is better exercise than nothing these days anyway.
It's true.
Back in 2012, an older man, unsure of his exact age at the time, but one source said that he was also in his 70s, by the name of Harold Kohler, claimed that he reached the parking spot in question before Evelyn had, which she was not in agreement with and none too pleased about. In retaliation, she keyed Harold's car.
Oh my gosh.
Harold then called the police and reported the incident. But Instead of waiting around for officers to arrive, witnesses to the whole event reported that Evelyn drove off straight into Harold.
Oh, well, that's an appropriate reaction. Oh my god, the poor guy. You'd think that she would try going in the opposite direction if she was avoiding the police coming.
Ugh, seriously. Harold stated that he got cuts on his hands from holding on for dear life to the hood of Evelyn's car while she drove recklessly through the parking lot, making sharp turns and running over curbs.
Oh my god.
Kohler had said, quote, "I was laying on the hood and I couldn't breathe, and I pleaded with her to just stop," end quote. Bystanders finally cornered Evelyn to make her stop, and Harold was able to safely get off the hood of the car. She told police that she was afraid that Harold was going to do her harm, and that is why she attempted to flee the scene. The woman had keyed his car. He was just wanting her to stick around so he could get her information to get his damn car fixed.
Oh my god. I mean, at least the bystanders were able to get her to stop before he was seriously injured. It's amazing he wasn't hurt more than he was.
No kidding. At the end of it all, Evelyn Danesi was charged with criminal mischief and assault with a deadly weapon. I swear, by the end of this episode, I am never going to want to go to Walmart again.
Hey, Amber, did you know that they used to make a $10,000 bill?
You know, I think I've heard that before. Seems excessive, though. Can't imagine going into a store and trying to use that and asking for change. Yeah, can I get $20 on pump 3 along with a bag of Funyuns and a Pepsi? Do you have change for $10,000?
Like, no, bitch. The $10,000 bill was discontinued in 1969 due to lack of public use. No shit.
Wonder why.
I know. Along with the $500, $1,000, and $5,000 bills. The highest bill in circulation since then has been the $100 bill, which apparently wasn't common knowledge to Michael Anthony Fuller in November of 2011. He walked into the Walmart in Lexington, North Carolina, where he proceeded to shop for a vacuum cleaner, a microwave, and a few other things totaling roughly $476. When he reached the register, he handed the cashier a $1 million bill, insisting it was real.
I bet that was the last thing the cashier expected to handle at work that day.
Uh-huh.
I would have been looking around for hidden cameras and like Ashton Kutcher to jump out somewhere at that point.
Yeah, the store employees called the police when Fuller continued to insist that the bill was real. Seriously, a $1 million bill. He really must have been expecting the $999,524 and change back. Jesus. He was later charged with attempting to obtain property by false pretense and uttering a forged instrument, which are both felonies. In February of the following year, both of those charges were willingly dismissed, and in court documents, Assistant District Attorney Greg Brown wrote that they were being dismissed in the interest of justice and competency questions.
Ooh, competency questions. Poor dude must have had some underlying issues going on.
Yeah, must have. Even though the original 2 charges were dismissed, he still was pending 2 charges of counts of felony malicious conduct by a prisoner and a misdemeanor charge of assault on a government official. In North Carolina, malicious conduct by a prisoner is defined as, quote, any prisoner who knowingly and willfully throws, emits, or causes to be used as a projectile any bodily fluids, excrement, or unknown substance at an employee while the employee is in the performance of the employee's duties is guilty of a Class F felony, and any prisoner who knowingly and willfully exposes genitalia to an employee while the employee is in the performance of the employee's duties is guilty of a Class 1 felony. So, yeah, doesn't sound like he was on his best behavior after the arrest. Gross.
I'm stuck on. As soon as you said the word excrement, I was like, oh God,
Yeah, I'm out.
projectile and excrement got me. Look, I'll be the first to admit that I have once or twice used the threat that I was going to sell one of my children on like Etsy, since they're
Mhm.
technically handmade after all. But regardless of how angry they make me, I'll never follow through. Idle threats are all I have sometimes, okay? Don't at me.
I have 100% done the same thing. I feel like threatening to sell them is still more lighthearted than some other things we could say in our angrier moments. But of course, I would never actually do anything but love them and spoil them rotten.
Same here. I think the
Yeah.
spoiling rotten is sometimes why I threaten to sell them, but anyway.
Same, yes.
On June 22nd, 2010, 20-year-old Samantha Tomasini of Salinas, California, and her boyfriend, 38-year-old Patrick Fushek, were standing outside their local Walmart where they attempted to sell their 8-month-old daughter.
Yeah, of all the places to try and sell your child, you're probably not going to get the highest bids there. Just saying.
Oh, you're not wrong.
No.
According to witnesses, they were trying to pawn the baby off for a whopping $25.
Wow.
It will come as no surprise when I tell you that Fusek and Tomasini heavily used methamphetamines and appeared high on meth when the police arrived at their home to arrest them.
Yeah.
Patrick's lawyer argued that the whole thing was just a misunderstanding and that he was just joking about selling the
course.
child.
Yeah.
Naturally. Fortunately, he was convicted of child endangerment and possession of drug paraphernalia and received the maximum penalty he could, 6 years in prison.
Yikes.
Tomasini, on the other hand, pleaded no contest to child endangerment and was sentenced to 4 years probation and placed in rehab.
Please tell me the baby wasn't subjected to either of their excellent parenting skills after that.
Child Protective Services got involved and, according to records, Tomasini told them that she had breastfed the infant while she was under the influence of drugs. Smart choices definitely were not made. The baby was put up for adoption, and she is now hopefully living her best life away from all the drugs and $25 price tag.
Yeah, I really hope she's in a situation where she is being treated better
Spoiled rotten?
than that. Yes,
Yeah.
spoiled rotten and asking for all of the things like children should. Yes.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Returning items to the store is a pain in the ass. Let's face it, sometimes it's easier just to keep the item you don't need rather than return it.
I'm pretty sure I have a stack somewhere of crap that was wrong or defective or whatever that I just refuse to hassle with taking it back, especially if returning it required me to leave my house.
Totally. And what makes it even harder to deal with is if you don't have that pesky receipt showing proof of purchase. 37-year-old Jared S. Carr went into the Walmart in Lake Hallie, Wisconsin to return a printer, but unfortunately didn't have a receipt to go along with it. Since he couldn't prove he had purchased the printer from them, they refused to refund his money. Carr insisted to employees that they were wrong, and he refused to leave the store. Upon inspecting the printer, the workers discovered something very interesting left in it.
Let me guess. Was it drugs? It always seems to be drugs.
Nope, not drugs this time. But what they did find was a printed page of $100 bills in the printer. Clearly fake $100 bills. Carr even tried to barter with the employees at the customer service center, saying that he would even take a partial refund. The police arrived on the scene and attempted to question Carr, who resisted arrest, and a struggle broke out. Thankfully, he was eventually apprehended without anyone getting injured, and after conducting a search on him, the police found another $300 in homemade money he had on him. Carr was charged with attempted theft by fraud, forgery, and resisting arrest.
You know, I wonder if he really did purchase the printer there in the first place or what.
Who knows? The police chief, Cal D. Smokowitz, told NBC News, quote, "You go to a Walmart with a printer to return and no receipt, with your counterfeit bills still lodged in it, and you want to dicker with the clerks to get half price back when you have warrants out for you. There are a few lessons here about not drawing attention to yourself." End quote. Turns out he was also wanted on burglary and armed robbery warrants from St. Croix County. He definitely wasn't using his brain that day.
Nope. Normally, the elderly don't make our lists very often, but today we have two. Our second geriatric wacky Walmart winner goes by the name of Walter Thomas Ellison.
Ooh, nice alliteration there. We usually save the best for last, so this one ought to be good.
Poop, drugs,
Oh, no.
and car chase. Oh my. On November 27th, 2012, the Port Isabel Police Department in Texas got a phone call reporting a hit and run from a woman in a Walmart parking lot saying that a two-door red Mercedes-Benz had struck her vehicle as she pulled into the lot. Oddly enough, only minutes after receiving the first phone call, the police received a second phone call from the store itself this time, reporting a male subject that had allegedly exposed himself inside the store.
Uh-oh.
Cesar Garcia, a Port Isabel police officer, connected the man who exposed himself and the driver of the red Mercedes were the same person and made his way to assist a fellow officer in pursuit. The man, identified as Walter Thomas Ellison, had led police on a small car chase where they finally apprehended him without incident.
Oh, well, there's the car chase. Do I dare ask where the poop and drugs come into play?
So after they arrested Ellison, they discovered he had a small amount of marijuana on him.
Ah.
And as for the poop, according to Chief Gonzalez, he said that Ellison had soiled himself and went into Walmart to get himself new pants, which is where he dropped trow, exposing himself to fellow shoppers in the men's department for a new pair of pants straight off the rack.
Wow.
After an employee approached Ellison, he fled, jumped into his car, and struck the woman's vehicle as he tried to leave his poopy pants behind.
Why couldn't he just go to the dressing room? I don't understand why. I mean, he was in that big of a hurry that he had to expose everyone to that.
You know, it's been about 36 years since I've shit myself, but I would imagine I'd want to get out of that as quickly as possible.
They do not pay Walmart employees enough to clean up that sort of mess. For sure. No.
Oh, exactly. Walter Thomas Ellison was booked on one charge of indecent exposure, one charge of driving while intoxicated, one charge of causing an accident involving damage, and possession of marijuana, each charge a Class B misdemeanor. He had previously been cited for a DWI in 2007, and the suspension on his Texas driver's license was lifted in 2010. I think another lesson we can learn here is it's never a bad idea to keep a change of clothes with you.
I feel like that's like the easiest lesson to learn. This one, there's lots of lessons.
But
Here.
if he had only had a pair of pants with him, he never would have gone into the Walmart to begin with.
That's true. That makes that's the problem.
Or even if he had, he might have just pulled over directly on the side of the road in like a busy frickin' highway and dropped trow there.
That's
so
true. Somebody's still going to see something they don't
somebody's
want to
gonna
see.
get an eyeful. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
A stinky eyeful.
Gross. Wrinkles.
I need a
Gross.
break. You had to bring in the wrinkles. You had to go there. Jesus.
Also, why is the old people in this episode the one causing the car accidents and shit, or like car, issues? Like,
You know what? To be perfectly honest, it's nice that they're not the ones on the receiving end of the torture and violence. So let's let the old people wreak some havoc and mayhem for once.
Have at it, elderlies.
Because I'm going to be one of those cranky old ladies.
Yeah. Walmart sure has everything, from clothes to household items and dumbass criminals galore. Before we say goodbye, have you figured out the riddle answer yet? Here it is one more time. A truck driver is going down a one-way street in the wrong direction. A police car drives past him but doesn't stop. Why? The answer: because he isn't driving down the street, he's walking. Let us know if you figured it out. What was your favorite wacky Walmart story today? And do you have your own story you'd like to share with us? We'd love to hear it, so be sure to send it and any other spooky tales or true crime stories, or even just hello, to our email at weirdtruecrime@gmail.com. Be one of the cool kids and leave us a review on your listening app of choice. Sometimes those get filtered for us, though, and we can't see them. So send those over to our email, too, and we'll give you a shout-out on a future episode.
Exciting things are on the horizon for our little corner of chaos, and we just want to take a moment to thank you for joining us on our journey. If you haven't gotten enough of us by now, go check out our website, weirdtruecrime.com, to see past episodes, pictures, and more. All of our other social links can be found in our bio, so you can follow us on the TikToks and the Instagrams, and even join our Facebook group, Weird True Crime Podcast. Next week, we are covering a little more of a current case that I have been following since the very beginning. So be sure to tune in then.
Until next time, stay safe.
And make good choices. Bye. Bye-bye.
Surveillance footage inside the store also shows customers doing everything they could to avoid. I read large.
Yeah,
instead
I
of
can tell
voyage.
that's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
Well, at least the word amiable is nowhere in this one.
Amiable? That was...
I have to sneeze so bad I'm crying. I feel like we need the circus music going on in the background every time we're doing this shit.
That's basically. I can only assume, but I'm pretty sure that their coach was probably not expecting their fundraising event to go down that way. It did. Nope. I said that wrong.
I mean, it was close.
That way, nope.
There's 75 cops walking around this store. It hurts.
What is he like hard of see? Like, can he not see very well? Is he just
He
that
saw well
stupid?
enough to fucking slice open a box without slitting his wrist.
Oh
So
my god. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't
we'll
even
never know.
pretend to know. I just smile and nod. No more poop, please.
The police chief, Cal D. Smokowitz. That name looks fake. I know. Cal D. Smokowitz. Okay. The police chief, Cal D. Smokowitz, told NBC News, quote, "You go to a Walmart with a printer to return. Fuck my life." Okay. Until next time, stay safe and make... Oh.
Wow. Just fucking doing it all today. I guess I'm done here. Okay. Bye-bye.
What?